Good morning. It's Monday. What else is there to say, really? I'm starting the commute. I'm messing with the microphone, if you wonder what the noise is. I think I'm going to attach it to the seatbelt. I don't know if that's a good idea. I could be breaking some safety regulations, but I don't care. It's a stunningly sunny morning. It's just about 7 a.m. I think, and my alarm's just gone off to tell me to get to work. So here we go, we're off. Yeah, sunny, dry. It is July though. So it's not uncommon, I suppose, for Dublin to be like this at this time of year. So just because we've got clear skies doesn't mean it's not going to be raining later on. I'm glad to say at this time of day there isn't a huge amount of traffic around on the side roads. Not really cyclists either, which is always good as well. Less objects, moving objects to hit. Yeah, I find that's good. Didn't sleep too bad. It's about early-ish. Early-ish. It's not that early thinking about it. Not 11, but I had a nap. I've had a nap. Yeah, that's right. So I had a nap for a couple of hours, which can be a little bit dangerous. And then I was up for a while, and then back to bed. And a bit of a broken sleep, but I think overall I've got to go to 6 hours. I think that's considered to be the minimum, isn't it? When you're meant to have at least 6 hours sleep a night, and I think I do. Not really in one lump, which is probably a bad thing. They always say broken sleep's worse, isn't it, than a lack of sleep, I suppose. And yeah, so no dreams, no nightmares, which is good. The previous night though, I did happen to wake up at some ridiculous hour and go back to sleep, and I find that can increase the chances of the old night terrors. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but you will be in a moment as I explain it. Yeah, so it's not a hypnotic jerk. I think we've all had the hypnotic jerk. This is where you jump as if, I don't know, as if you're falling, maybe that could be included. You literally jump awake and it's like you've had a bit of a shock. It's a hypnotic jerk apparently. And yeah, perfectly normal, nothing much to say about that. But I have this thing where if I go back to sleep, I can, and it depends, usually if there's work. There wasn't work though the other day, but if there's work, if I've been very tired, wake up, go back to sleep, and I get some interesting sensations. One is like somebody's pulling at me, it might be, shaking me, trying to drag me out of the bed, and I know there's definitely no one there. It's always interesting because I remember the position I've gone to sleep in, and that makes it even more unnerving. There's never anybody around. I never see anybody, of course, and it can be quite frightening because you can't scream or shout. I don't have that level of consciousness or conscious awareness in the dream, but you feel like this overriding fear of getting out of it. And I do feel I make some strange noises. I don't know if I actually do, but I think I probably do. Somewhere between a wail and a scream, and as I drag myself out of the dream, it's quite intense because it's physical sensations with it. I've been shook, I've been dragged, and then I sort of drag myself out of it and wake up and just lie there for a while and feel a bit of an idiot because obviously there's nothing there. It's just an interesting trick that the brain can play on you, and I think what to me is the most amazing thing is the feeling of someone actually pulling at you, someone actually moving you physically. Yeah, I mean, we associate lots of things with dreams, but to have that sensation that there's somebody there, and it feels like a somebody, I'm not quite sure who, but whoever they are, it's not a nice feeling. It's not like they've come to help me, it's they've come to get me and take me away somewhere, I don't know, but it's not alien abductions, but I sort of get that as well, that people might get that. It's interesting that most people that have been abducted, it's usually from the bed in the middle of the night. So when I get a sensation like that, and I've had other sensations as well, I'm not surprised that people think they've been abducted by aliens, they've been poked and prodded, because the physical sensation is real. I don't see why they wouldn't think that in some ways. I never see, I wish I had some wood today. I'm going to wood to just play cardboard, do got sort of wood in it. I've never had like alien sort of apparitions. It's interesting that when I was a child and I've had the sensation of flying in a dream, it was usually around witches, a witch, which it's not something that bothers me anymore now. And ironically, a lot of the nightmares I get now are around catching planes and ferries. It's interesting how my mature brain has other demons now that don't involve witches on broomsticks, and I think that's fascinating as well. It's as if there's a part of the brain that, you know, knows your fears, maybe things that stress you out, and uses that in your nightmares. I've had a few of the common dreams that you've probably had yourself. You're running and you're not getting anywhere. You're screaming but no sound comes out. I've been shot. I've been shot in my dream and felt I was fading away. Then woke up. I've seen people in the dream that I've never met before. I think it's incredible how the brain can conjure up these people. Maybe I have seen them, didn't realise I'd remembered them. I suppose that could possibly happen. I've had dreams that were like cinematic, that were like a movie, that were really amazing, expansive worlds that, you know, were pretty much like the real thing. I've had dreams where I've woke up multiple times within the dream and not actually woke up. I think that some of the dreams that I fear the most in some ways, those where I'm in the bed in the room that I've gone to sleep in, or, you know, and I find that's quite scary. I mean, sleep paralysis. Of course, your body has to be paralysed when you go to sleep, you know, because otherwise you'll be acting out your dreams and flailing your arms and legs around like a fool. But obviously, if you're sort of semi-conscious, I remember I had it once. I was lying on the sofa many years ago. I think it's about 30 years ago now. And there was people in the room when I went to sleep, and it was interesting that when I thought I'd woke up again, and I could see them in the room, and I wondered why they wasn't doing anything, you know, because they could see my eyes open and I couldn't move. But they couldn't see my eyes open because my eyes were still shut because I was still asleep. And what I was actually seeing was the last image I saw before I went to sleep, which I think is quite interesting. So I thought they were just, you know, there's me struggling to move, and I had no chance of moving until I woke up properly. But I was caught in that middle world between fully conscious and fully asleep, and that can be quite scary. I'm lucky. I think I haven't had that recently, and for the most part, I might have the odd dream that usually has some comedic or amusing value, but it's gone. And it's interesting though that sometimes if there's something on your mind, it can seep into your dream. I find that interesting, and gives you this where you could actually have like lucid dreams where you can do things in the dream, and I've had those. I think you have to be in a certain state of mind for that to really get the full effect. I'm not sure I'd be into that either. I'd rather get the dream all the way and forgotten about and wake up. That'd suit me, I think, down to the ground, and not dwell too much on the meaning of the dreams. And I've had some odd ones, and it's interesting that one came up again there recently, and it's quite a strange one. And so the dream was odd. It was like hair was caught in my mouth, or it was actually growing out of my gums, and it was long hair, and I was trying to get it out. I don't know what that means. There's lots of dreams around teeth and teeth falling out and things like that, but to actually have hair, I could feel it like it was really there. And I was trying to pull it out and get it out, and it was really long. I mean, how did it get this long, you know? What a funny place to have hair. It's one of the places you definitely don't want hair. But it was interesting, and you know, that feeling of wanting to get rid of it, and I couldn't. I'm sure there's somebody out there might have an interpretation for that dream, and I thought of a few, but it's just an odd one. And I had that fairly recently, actually, pulling the hair out, of my gums. Hair where there shouldn't be hair, which isn't welcome, of course, is it? So